Good morning. My name is Pamela Bono. I have stage 4 small cell cancer and brain cancer and macular tuberculosis. It's and I'll explain to that when we get to it. I was 50 and I had bought a farmhouse, wanted to fix it up, and was mowing, feeling fine, getting used to North Carolina because I come from a different state, and thought that this place would keep me busy. I was a production manager full-time, walked the floors of the manufacturing company all day long, checking on different pieces of furniture, making sure everything added up. Had to have everything buttoned up. Had to have the right price, the right components. When I walked into a meeting, I had to have everything buttoned up. And when I got cancer, I couldn't do that anymore. And it was quite humiliating. But when I was on the floor, when I was on the floor, I lifted up a small dining chair, and my right side felt like it was going to explode. The pain was so bad. Called my primary. He says, go for an x-ray tonight right after work. I said, okay. So I went, and the tech came out, and she said, honey, how long has it been since you had an x-ray? I said, I don't know. It's been a while. She goes, oh, honey, God bless you. Take care of yourself. I thought right then and there, I am screwed. No tech comes out and tells you, God bless you, and all this other stuff, you know. So I left there and thought, man, I'm in so much trouble. And the next morning, my doctor called, said I had to leave work, came into his office. This is just my primary doctor, and said, you've got stage 4 cancer. I said, well, how can you tell that? You haven't even had a biopsy. He goes, no. He says, we've looked at the x-rays. It's bad. And you've got 3 to 6 months to live. Now, we could give you some cancer, chemo treatment, to try and give you a little bit more longevity. I said, well, I don't want to do that here. I want to go to a good hospital with a reputation, a teaching hospital. He said, you'll never make it. It's so backed up, you're just never going to make it. You won't get in on time. I got in 4 days. And in 4 days, they were rocking and rolling. They had me come in every day, and I had to take off work. I had MRIs on my brain on the weekends. I never thought a hospital was open in the week. They lie to you. They're open on weekends. But anyways, never did get brain cancer initially, but I did get, it was confirmed stage 4 lung cancer. That was at one part was very close to the lymph node to my bronchitis, my tube right there. Bronchial tube. That's from my brain cancer. I'm sorry, bear with me. So he said, tomorrow we're going to have a meeting just about you. It's going to be about 4 or 5 doctors, and it's going to be all about you, Pamela. Well, I went in, and I stood in the corner, and they kept trying to ask me to sit down, and I said, no, I can't take bad news sitting down. I had to take it standing up. It makes me feel stronger. And everybody around that room was very negative. Every doctor. You know, Pam, you can't have surgery. You know, Pam, you're on limited time. It was just, it wasn't very hopeful at all. But there was this one guy in that room. He was a radiologist, and he kept staring at me throughout the whole meeting. And he goes, I'm going to blast it. If you're up for it, I'm going to blast it. If you're up for a protocol that we're just going to blow away. We're not going to follow it. We're just going to keep blasting you until you're okay. It's either going to make you or break you. What I had to lose, you know? I mean, but at the same time, I had no idea what I was in for. So I went and I said yes. He goes, now you're going to be sick. You're going to be sick as a dog. And it's going to be hurting you sometimes. I go, okay. And he goes, okay, we start tomorrow. I'm like, okay. And I went into chemo. I went to all my treatments alone. And I went into chemo, and I thought, I was very nervous. But when I got there, everybody was on their laptops. You know, it was like they're sitting in chairs, and they're reading, and they're on their laptops, and they're having breakfast. And I'm thinking, well, this can't be too bad. You know, I can get through this. And I sat down and went through the chemo, and I couldn't have a port because I was too weak already, and they were worried I'd get infected. So every day I had to have new needles put in me, which was painful and difficult at times because they ran out of places to inject me. But I went, then I had to go down to radiation. And at that point, they would just draw all over me to try and get the perfect fit and timeline as to where they were going to radiate me. So they drew all over me. They taped my whole body to cover the drawings. They tattooed my underarms to make sure that they didn't go too far. And then they said, okay, well, tomorrow you're going to have radiation a little bit early. Then you come down and see me, and we're going to give you 15 hits of radiation. Or you're going to have chemo early. See me, we're going to have 15 counts of radiation. You can go to work. 4:30, leave work, come back. You get another 15 hits of radiation. So I said, I can do this. I can do this. Well, after a while, I'm looking at these people in radiation and chemo going, I can't wait to go home and take a nap. Well, I couldn't do that. I mean, I knew what I had ahead of me, you know, and I was like, yeah, right. I was like going to chemo and going to radiation and getting another 15 hits and, you know, going back to work. And my boss wanted a schedule. At the time, I was working full time, and I didn't make schedule one morning because one of the radiation machines, they have to have a certain temperature. And they had to wait. Something went wrong. They had to wait till it got to a certain temperature. So I said, well, I'll just go to work, come back later, you know, and we'll double it. He goes, oh, no, you can't leave. You're on a strict schedule. So my boss had called the radiation team and wanted to know why I was late for work. Gave my doctor just an earful. And it became their mission to find me a new job. Everybody in radiation was now trying to find Pamela a new job because of this guy she worked for. And that went on for quite a while. And as time went on and I was working, I got sick. I was getting weaker and weaker. They said, you know, we burnt your esophagus. We burnt it bad. And I couldn't swallow. It felt like ice cubes, pieces of glass going down my throat. So every day I'd come in, they'd give me like a pack of fluid to try and keep me going. But it wasn't working. After about 3 days, I was on the chemo radiation table, and I fell right off onto the floor. They put me on feeding tubes to get me back to normal. Put me in the hospital for a while. What? I got 2 minutes more? Okay, guys. So, I thought you wanted to tell me the story. I thought you wanted me to tell. So anyways, that said, I got through that. Let me go to my notes. And then 5 years later, my brain cancer came back. We got it taken care of. It went back into remission. And I just had carboplatin and etoposide. And then in 2016, my brain cancer arrived. Now, I did take cancer to the brain to prevent it from happening, but it did years later. And I got a Nero Blade treatment, which was relatively new. I think I was like the second or third person in the United States to get it. And they burnt the whole inside of my brain. They burnt out all the cancer, and it was to create an environment where if it came back, it wouldn't last. So I went through that brain surgery. That was about 5 hours. That was robotic. And then in 2018, I was diagnosed with macrotuberculosis, and it's a brother of tuberculosis. It's not that, but it's for people who get very, very weak. Usually HIV patients get it, and it's an infection that sits in the lung. And it's an infection that it's strand, just like the flu has a different strand every year. So they have to treat it different. Well, that's how the MAC is. But it's every 4 or 5 months. So we have to reassess that, see what medicines are going to work towards it. When it's infected, it infects my whole body. You just feel terrible. And my right side, it's on my right lung. And it hurts quite bad. But right now I'm in radiation. I'm in chemo. What's the word I'm looking for? See, this is remission. The side effects from the brain cancer, unbelievable. You can't talk, you lose your words, all that kind of good stuff. But I'm doing okay. I'm just going to my scans every 3 months, trying to do what they say. And I have a lot of faith, which has helped me. I encourage people that if you have any faith, and if you have friends, lean on them. Some go away because they don't know what to say to you anymore. So you will lose some of those. And try to join a group like this, because this saved my life. I've been with Dusty since almost day one, and I have learned so much, not just on the medical side, but on a personal side, and what other people are going through. And I truly believe this, that if I got in a bad jam and I needed help and I was sick, I could call just about anybody in this room and they'd help me. And I do the same for them. And that's rare. That's very rare. And I cherish that. So, and that's it. I think did I do okay? Okay.